Elle de Lyon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are now watching and listening to Voices of the Millennials. I am your host, Elle de Lyon, or DeLion, which way you want to call it. I do make pretty dope art, and I am the pretty dope host of the show Voices of the Millennials, and you are listening and watching live on Afrobeat music and talk radio on Love Bay Online Radio. All right. And we are broadcasting live from the GTA in Toronto. So, welcome to everyone from around the world. We're broadcasting to 135 countries on radio as well as streaming platforms. Some of us are watching on YouTube and Facebook. We're just waiting for all our friends to join us. Today, we have another elevated conversation. And today we are going to be going through our breakdowns and our breakthroughs with creatives and artists and business owners that are within our Black community. So big up to that. I'm really excited for our guests to join. For those of you who tune into my stories, you can follow me on IG. It's my whole name, Elle DeLeon, ELLEDELYON at, and then you go find me on IG. So when you find me on there, you'll see in my stories, I announced whose guests are going to be on the show today. And so I just want to quickly let you know what we're going to be discussing. As you know, on Elevated Conversations, this is the show that we are talking to individuals who either interact with, who are identifying as millennials, and that is pretty much everyone. So every week at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, we get down and I would say we elevate. We get down, we break down everything that it took for them to get to the spot that they're at. And then we break through or we elevate to new platforms, new perspectives, and new understandings of how we can navigate our worlds. So that's what I really love to do. I see myself as a literal and figurative elevator. Like if an elevator was a person, it would be me. I love to be able to interact with people. People get on and off at different stops with me, in terms of where I'm able to take them to. I'm often able to bring people to a certain perspective or a new way of thinking, if you will. And then from there, it's up to them to apply that knowledge, and that is where the power comes from, when you're able to apply the knowledge that you have received. And really, as an elevator, I am someone that I love to impart knowledge and I like to bring other people in. So that's why I love that the show Voices with an S of the Millennials is all about not only myself sharing my perspective and the things that have helped me to get to where I'm at. And every week is a new place that I'm at, to be honest. Like new things are happening all the time and changing the way that I think about getting to where I want to be. And so one of the things that really, really changes my life are the conversations that I have with people. And so I'm so excited today to be able to bring you there may be another surprise guest who's joining us. So we'll see. But for sure, we're going to have an elevated conversation with Mr. Adrian Hales. And Adrian is the owner of Worth Gallery. And why I really am excited to speak with Adrian is because Adrian actually reached out. We've worked together previously on an exhibition where we were showcasing Black male visual artists from the GTA. And there were 11 of them. And this was an organization, Blackman Style, who came up with this concept, Black Frames. And then my organization, Madewell Productions, I work with my co-founder, and we were able to execute this amazing exhibition about 2 weeks ago on July 8th. And there's still stories and people are still talking and reeling about it. And if you were there, let us know if you were there. And if you weren't, if you want to know more, let me know, because we will definitely be doing this event again. And the whole premise or concept theme of this event was Black Frames. And it is basically showing our perspective of art through the male gaze. And so, the male gaze does not only include the male himself, but also what the male sees, what the male experiences. And so we got to see a massive collection of art. There was over 50 pieces that were showcased, and 11 artists who showcased them. And they were all Black male visual artists. And Adrian was one of them. And so I'm really excited to be able to dive deeper into a conversation with Adrian, not only about the work that we did together and the work that he was able to showcase and exhibit. And I want to also say that this exhibit was really historic because it was our second annual exhibit, and it was also at the Canadian National Exhibition. So the CNE, for those folks who are in Toronto, yes, the same place that the amusement park happens every August, but it's also actually Canada's largest national exhibition. So this is a big deal that we were able to bring our community to this space. And as I said, I feel that my purpose in life is to put people on, build platforms, and then be able to help them to get to the places that they want to be while I'm doing the same thing. So lifting as I climb, right? And I think that the best analogy, or the best way to visualize that, is an elevator. Somebody or something that not only lifts and figuratively and literally goes up, but also brings people there with them. And they're big enough that, like, people ask me sometimes why I like helping people so much and things like that. Yes, this is our guest. I love the background. You look so
Thank you.
cozy out there. I love being
Yeah,
outside. I am inside. But thank you,
yeah.
Adrian. I was just speaking your praises. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for joining us today on Voices of the Millennials. I was telling our guests, or telling our audience, that
Mhm.
our guest will be individuals from the Black community who are breaking ground, who are finding ways to take their breakdowns and break through into spaces that, I think our ancestors would have never thought that we would be in. You, to me, thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to, I see myself as an elevator, somebody who,
Mhm.
I'm going up, but I'm also bringing lots of people with me at the same time. And so I'm really glad that you got on the elevator today. And we're going to have a conversation about, your breakdowns and how you broke through to be the owner of your own gallery. And I love that because I was speaking a little bit about the, Canadian National Exhibition and the exhibit that we just did together,
Yeah.
and the work that you were showing, and just saying that, these are spaces that traditionally there's a lot of gatekeepers there, people who don't look like us. And I'd love to know more about yourself and how you took that step to set up your own gallery. Like, and if that had anything to do with the breakdowns, that you might have experienced while trying to make it in the visual arts world. So, yeah, I want to tell us about you and a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This was so impromptu. Like, I just got a hold of you a couple days ago, and you jumped right on this. And of course, the amazing show that we had. It was such an amazing experience to see so many of us so well decked out and looking absolutely fabulous in an amazing space. So it's a blessing all around, and the timing could not be better for us to be having these types of discussions. I always remember a quote that, when God blesses you, you bless others. So much like you were
Mhm.
saying about the idea of an elevator and helping others. It's really about that, especially when it's people of your own community, because of course we know what the struggles that we deal with in our modern society and in North America as a whole, as far as I'm concerned. So, in terms of becoming a gallery owner, a lot of that kind of really happens really organically. I never set out to do that, in fact. My main focus, seems to be my entire life, is just to be the best artist I could be. And I've been blessed with amazing opportunities. Even even in places, things that I thought were really not in my best interest, they always help to galvanize who I am and who my drive. So there's never been a really bad situation for me. The way I look at it, it's always
Yeah.
been things that's helped to make me better in some way or another. Even though in the moment it might have been a tough time, but it really helps to everything that you go through. Really helps to galvanize you and make you a better person. There's another great saying that I just recently read about how, easy and soft times make soft people, and really hard and difficult times make really strong and hard people. So it's good to go through things, because at the end of it, it really does make you better.
Yes, and I
Mhm.
love, those quotes that you brought. Also, that
Yeah.
word galvanize, I've been hearing that a lot lately from people that I admire and respect and who are in places that I would love to be in. You are one of them.
Appreciate that.
So I
Thank you.
feel this is the word of the day, y'all. Galvanize.
Galvanized, love it.
That in your minds. And I also love what you're saying about, you know, how you basically prepare yourself for these opportunities, which they are not easy to obtain. However, they are very worth it. I don't know if that's, I'd
Thank
love
you.
to know what's the meaning behind the name of Worth Gallery, actually.
Oh, okay. Wow. See,
Yeah.
so you know what? Okay, so the gallery itself, myself, for the past like 15 years, my work has been really focused on doing work in public spaces, doing mural work specifically using spray paint. And if you know the history of spray paint or the graffiti that seems to coincide with it, it's always been something that's been considered illegal and something that's shunned. So for many years, artists were just happy to get permission to do things on walls and not being able to truly have their talents appreciated where they can make a living off of it and being appreciated for the artistry that they bring to the table. So for me, I'm like classically trained artist. So my thing was to really use my skill sets to amplify the medium of spray paint and do stuff in the public space where everybody gets to enjoy it, as opposed to being like, you know, stuffed up in a gallery, if you will, or in spaces where only a select few people get to enjoy the works. Whereas when I do stuff in public spaces, it really beautifies the city for everybody within the community to enjoy. So
Mhm.
that being said, the reason why Worth Gallery is called Worth Gallery, it's really because the gallery is focused on street art and work that's in ephemeral work that's in public spaces that gets, you know, tagged or damaged or whatever have you. But taking that type of work and putting it into a creative space in a gallery, a really, you know, decked out, beautiful gallery space, really elevates the meaning and the worth of the item itself.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
really, really love that. It's such a, you know, that we always speak a lot about our worth and our value. And it's so much tied up in, you know, where you get to showcase and where you get to access.
Yeah.
Um, and when you're able to say that you're attached to a gallery and then in a medium that is often seen like as street art and not fine art, although you are really turning the head on that one, the pieces
Hmm.
that you brought through really show that, you know, it's about the way you use the medium and that there are ways to, you know, that it can be included and even I think surpass some fine artwork that I have seen before. Especially those pieces that you made. For me, it was the Adam and Eve. Like
Yeah.
I just like, I could see them in my mind, and I still can't believe that it was spray paint, and I love, love, love that you are breaking ground and breaking through and showing people that they belong, they're worth it, like, your art can belong in these spaces, and I know that's something that you actually wanted to make sure that we did talk about today, and I'm glad that you, brought it up, is about Emancipation Day and the event series that you're really doing. And I know that
Hmm.
you had a question for me, which was about what does emancipation mean to me? And I did think about that. I'd love to know if you want to start out by telling us about the event, or if you want to hear my answer first. We can go either way. But
Oh well, you know, I'll jump right into talking about it because it's just been my focus for the past couple of weeks, as you can imagine, planning this. I'm
mhm,
so thankful for Street Art Toronto, who have been a big supporter of the gallery, of my work over the years. Um, uh, and it's they have this call that I was fortunate to put together for them a few years ago, called the Just Us Mural Call, and it's really for people of color as well as Indigenous artists to find a wall space that they can express themselves on. Of course, get the permission of the building owner, and then
mhm.
what happens is that the city will fund you $5,000 in order to create a mural piece that really speaks to balancing the scales of justice, if you will.
Let's go.
So that's where this entire mural project kind of this exhibition started off on.
Mhm.
So it's connected to the Just Us call, and of course Emancipation Day being, you know, just around the corner on August 1st, we thought it'd be great to launch the series of shows at this location at the gallery and on that date. So
That's
for me,
fantastic.
emancipation really, it's not. There's so many levels to it. A big part of it for me is remembering Bob Marley's famous saying that, you know, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, and a lot of the things that we that hold us back is in our minds. Once you're able to get over a lot of mental hurdles and believe in yourself, it all really starts from there. You know, your body does what the mind tells it, and then that expands out towards
Mm.
everybody else seeing your actions, and that all really speaks to your mindset. So it really starts with your mindset, and representation really goes a long way. So myself as a black artist and doing things on the level that I am, being able to
Mhm.
show it to people that look like me and saying that, hey, this is possible. Young people, kids, saying that this is possible. Back in my day when I started, even like 12 years ago, there was no, there's the Street Art Toronto didn't exist, and there was no opportunities for artists to do stuff on this level. So um, the time is ripe right now for artists to jump on these opportunities and find spaces for them to express themselves in public realm and do amazing things.
Honestly, I love everything that you said, like, so many gems
Hmm.
you dropped there, and so much inspiration because, one of the spaces, I guess, that I can say that I tried to enter and that felt very similarly was in the health space, and for me, it was in yoga and meditation, that, when I started about around the same time as you, 12 years ago, just not seeing a lot of people that look like me and then feeling
Yeah.
discouraged about, continuing a career in that field. And even within this art space, curating exhibits, same thing, it's never me at the table, but being the first and breaking ground is so
Yeah.
important. I'm so glad that, you were able to take on some of the words, such as from Bob Marley. It's funny because I put that on our story today. He's definitely the one that comes to mind when I think about emancipation and freedom. And that's what emancipation means to me. It's about freeing up yourself from, as you said, like the mental blocks, as well as, yes, there are some physical blocks, but linking up, collaborating with folks such as yourself, you and I, unifying and really elevating each other in our brands, like, is, I think, the way forward. That's what will help us to emancipate, is recognizing, like, waking up to that we are still under, some programming and thoughts from the past. Colonization has dictated a lot of what we do and why we do it. And I think that every time people have events like these
Hmm.
where we can gain this education, but not in a, stuffing it down your throat history book kind of way. Not that they write the right things in the history books, but just saying, when we
No.
can get people real life experience, bringing this historical in a new medium, a new format, I think this is how we rewrite the narrative. So I'm so glad that this exists. And you were saying that it's not just one day that you're doing this, it's like over the course of a couple of days or weeks. Are you able to hear me? Oh, we're having a little bit of tech difficulties, I think. Let me see.
Yeah,
Let me
so the exhibition opens up on 27th, which is next week Thursday.
Yes.
The events. There's two floors of gallery there in the instance. So what we're going to be having is on the lower gallery. Yeah, so on the lower gallery, I'll be projecting a series of time called Black Water series, the Black series, and audio.
Having a little tech difficulties, y'all. We're just gonna stand by. And in the meantime, I'll just let you know about Adrian's event. So it's going to be an event series and it's happening starting on July 27th. And then it runs until, I want to say, it's August the 1st, which is actually Emancipation Day in Canada. And so that's the day when we're celebrating, the abolishment of the slave trades that were occurring at those times back in the 1800s. And so this is something, or sorry, did I say that? Yes, it was happening. Yes, I know. Let's see. Can you? So Adrian just froze a bit, and you know how it goes. These things do happen, technical difficulties and all. It's all good because I am prepared. I'm prepared for this opportunity, and it's interesting because one of the things I was going to say when Adrian was on, he was mentioning some really great quotes about the fact that um, people who are soft, or they are brought up in a soft environment, if you will, and versus like a environment where you are more challenged and you are therefore bringing up more of your skill. Yes, Adrian is back. I was just saying that, I'm prepared for this opportunity because luckily you sent me some deets, but I couldn't remember the date that it ends. So it starts on July 27th, this event, and
Yep.
then it's going until
It goes until August 20th.
20th.
Yeah,
Okay,
the 20th
amazing.
of August. Yeah, so you got a good 3 weeks to come check out the exhibition. And of course, we have various events that will be happening out throughout the entire exhibition. So look out for more.
Fantastic. And how can anybody get more information about this if they're listening right now or watching?
Yeah, you can definitely check us out on the World Wide Web at worthgallery.ca, as well as follow us on Instagram. That's almost the quickest way to see, of course, our stories and what's going on with us. That's at worth underscore gallery.
Blessings, blessings. I appreciate you coming through and letting us know about this event. And I was saying my last thoughts, I guess, about emancipation
Mhm.
and how it relates to, what we were talking about today, and just breaking free of these perspectives that might have been placed on you based on colonialism or any number of systems and isms that exist. And so I'm really glad that you came through not only to impart that wisdom, but you really are like a walking example of, breaking free of the gates and everything. And so I guess I would love to know, are there any other, like, what is would you say the biggest gem that you have been given in your life, be it a piece of advice or maybe an experience that helped you to really become the person that you are today?
Well, I definitely say that self love is really where it comes from. But a lot of us look out there trying to get. You have to start.
Oh, I think it froze. Can you still hear me, Adrian? Yes, yes. Okay. I think we're having a little issues with the sound. If you can hear me still, let me know. And um but Adrian was saying self-love, and I do think that that is one of the biggest things, being able to take care of yourself, and that's how you're able to pour into others, with something of value. So I do think you all who are listening right now should make sure to go and follow worth underscore gallery on Instagram. It's in my stories as well. So you can follow me and then you can follow them. And you can make sure to be able, and it's in the Love Bay stories as well. And you are listening right now to Love Bay online radio, and we play the best music in Afro beats, and we also have some of the best shows and coming from voices of those from Africa and the Caribbean. We're streaming in 135 countries, and we stream live every Wednesday, 7 p.m., Voices of the Millennials. And we have Adrian, who's back. I'm so glad, because I love to have, a good goodbye, not
Mhm.
just, chopping
Like that.
off. So blessings, blessings. Okay. So,
Thank you so much.
Adrian, yes, thank you so much for being here. I just told everyone to make sure to go follow you. I'm definitely going to be going through and checking that out. I'm glad we have 3 weeks to go check that out. And where are you located in the city?
It's at 8:30 Dundas. That's Dundas and Bath. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
So forward to
Fantastic.
seeing you soon.
Yes.
I'm gonna take off now and check out my soccer game. But look forward to seeing you at the show. Come out on the 27th. We have drinks. We'll have food. Be a great time and be nice to connect with our community and talk about the works.
Okay, amazing. I can't wait. See you then. Thanks, Adrian.
See you. Thank you. Ciao.
Enjoy the game.
Bye.
Amazing, amazing. So, y'all, that was Adrian Hales, and he is the owner and the founder of Worth Gallery. That is one of, for me, one of the only Black owned spaces that are showcasing these kind of works, which is amazing. So, please go and support. This is what my platform, being the voice, or is about bringing in the voices of the millennials, of the people who work, live, and play with millennials, and who are millennials. Okay. So we are, as I always say, I love to make sure that people know that right now, millennials, that generation is the largest generation that are in the working population all over the world. Just because of, where the ages are. They're about representing right now ages 25 to 40. I think it is 25 to 45 ish. And so you can imagine that lots of us fall into that category. So it's really important to know what's going on with us and happening. And so I'm so glad that we got that opportunity to speak with Adrian and learn more about a business that could possibly help you achieve a goal that you have. So make sure you go and check out that event if you are in the GTA area and you're near, Dundas and Bathurst. I'm not super near to that, but there are ways to get there. And I will make sure to check that out. So many gems were dropped, and in that conversation with Adrian, another thing that kind of came out of that for me and reminded me of something that I read this week is that in order to become a skilled sailor, I've heard two things before. So, in order to become a skilled sailor, you have to sail choppy waters. You have to sail the most challenging of waters to become a skilled sailor. How do you sharpen your skills if you are not being challenged? And so that is why, for me, I really believe that breakdowns are just breakthroughs that are unfound. You have to shift your perspective in order to understand how that breakdown can actually be a breakthrough. And it's so interesting every time that we have people on, the ways that they came to being able to be where they're at. The paths are so different. And it reminds me that there's no one smooth path to be able to get to where you want to be. And so being able to understand who you are and where you're at and what resources are available to you are super important. And so, one of the things that I want to do today before we end off our show, and we have a little bit more time, so don't get antsy, is I really want to discuss some of the biggest gems that I've been dropped in order to become, where I am at right now. And so, there are two. I shared one with you, and that is skilled sailors don't sail smooth waters. So skilled sailors don't sail smooth waters. And then the other one I heard this week, and it's the same thing, but it's about a different medium, I guess, if you will. And so this one I heard from Toby. He had it on. It's an artist. Sorry, Toby is an artist from Toronto, Brampton to be exact, and really has been able to surpass what most of us would say is a successful career being an emerging artist from Toronto. He's now, I would say, certified, verified, and has been gracing covers, won Junos, many things. And what something so when people are at that status, for me, if you're at the top floor, you're at the penthouse, or you're on your way up, I'm definitely wanting to listen or stand in the elevator with you. All right. And so, that being said, here is the gem that was dropped. It was a literal and figurative gem. And it just really, I'm adding it to my repertoire. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. I got the tea. We'll talk about this t-shirt also that I'm wearing for the people that are watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But Toby said, well, it wasn't Toby, but it was from a book, but he made sure to take this part out. And it said, if you want to shine like a diamond, you have to get cut like a diamond. Let me say that one more time. If you want to shine like a diamond, you have to get cut like a diamond. So, what does that mean? I'd love to pose it to anybody who's out there listening right now. What does that mean to you? And maybe we'll take it up on the next show. And I have an announcement about that too. But that being said, to me, what that meant is that, and of course, I want to shine like a diamond. I love diamond. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, like for real. And I know that it takes a lot of pressure to make diamonds and that diamonds come from coal. So we know that. And so therefore, that process, just even thinking about that scientifically, what it takes to truly become a diamond, to shine like that, you have to get cut. Like you have to get cut, you have to transform, you have to transmute. All of these things have to happen to you before you gain that final form, that is so coveted and revered. And so my life's work is definitely to become a diamond. If I'm not, I think I'm already a diamond, but diamond in the rough. There's still some coaly edges around there. That being said, we are all on our way up, and I think that having these thoughts in mind really help us to remember who we are and where we're at, and then what we have around us to be able to use to elevate to the places that we want to go. That's really as simple as it is. And I promised you that I was also going to talk about this t-shirt that I have on. So sometimes some people, they like sponsor the stuff that I'm wearing. So let's put that to the back. Have my stone as well. So actually, let's talk about this too. So for the people that are listening, I will describe this to you. I have a stone. It's called citrine, is the medium, if you will. And it's wrapped in copper. And it also has an evil eye ward, I call them. And actually, why should I call it evil eye? This is the good eye. This is the good eye that wards off the evil eye. And all of that to be said, that was made by Asha Lee. She's a great artist, creative from Toronto. And actually, you should have her on the show. She has a lot of great music you all should check out. But this t-shirt was made by a friend of mine who works at an organization. I'm going to find out the name for y'all because it's important for me to make sure that I put people on and that people know where, I got this. But this t-shirt that I have on right now is it says got tea, and it's spelt out in the same font that the got milk t-shirts are. So it looks exactly like got milk, but it says got tea. And I want y'all to know right now that if you got tea, like, you have things to share. That's what I see the tea as, things to share. It doesn't have to be gossip. It could be gems, it could be advice, but I'm letting you know right now, you have the opportunity to be on the show. And I have two announcements. One, we are doing a huge in-person event. And because we're doing this in-person event, we're putting a lot of energy into that. And that's the Be the Light Youth Summit. I'm going to be hosting that along with the MC Gwen Chapman. And we're going to be having a lot of amazing speakers. You have to check it out. You can go on the Love Bay website and you can look at our upcoming events and you'll be able to see that there. And then you must RSVP, okay? In order to be at this event, you must RSVP. It is a tabled event. It's ticketed. It's free to attend though. You get refreshments, entertainment. There'll be amazing speakers. And of course, I will be there. I get to meet you in person. If it's possible, come through. It's 2 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, July the 22nd at Humber Valley Church. I'm very excited to be able to go there. This is a space that has opened up the doors. Usually there are spaces, especially if they are associated with, certain religions or cultures, etc., that you may feel that you don't belong in because you may not prescribe. That being said, this space is totally different. They've opened up their doors to us and they are welcoming everyone in because we believe that it's very important to be inclusive, to have equity within our spaces as well as diversity. And we're celebrating all of that along with excellence in our community at that event. The Be the Light Youth Summit and Voices of the Millennials will be there July 22nd. Make sure you attend if you can. And if you're not able to attend, you can donate. I don't know if you know, but Love Bay is an organization that you can donate to. And we accept these donations, one, to be able to provide opportunities for people in our community to be able to do what I'm doing right now, be a host on the show. And we are all volunteering as well in order to be here, to be able to bring you all of this information that you can use for me to elevate your life and for others to entertain, to educate. There's so many programs on this radio station. I'm really just even still learning about them. This is my 8th episode, by the way. I'm so excited that I have this opportunity to be able to share, what I'm learning. And one of the things I learned is that there are a lot of amazing programs on Love Bay. And right now you're listening to us live on Love Bay Music Talk Radio. And we play the best in Afro beats from all around the world because we're streaming in 135 countries and on so many different online platforms. So there's no excuses, tune in, tell a friend to tell a friend. Every Wednesday at 7, you can listen to me and then all of my friends 24 hours a day. We're on. We're playing music or we are educating you. This is true edutainment that's happening right here. And so we're going to be celebrating that on Saturday, right? But then as you know, it's summertime where I'm at. And just like Adrienne, I have a little girl. She plays soccer every Wednesday at 7. And so I'm being honest with you, viewers, that, people need breaks. It's super important. But I don't like to just break away without giving explanations. A friend of mine said that that's my OCD. And if it's my OCD, I think it's like, okay, OCD, what does OCD mean? I think maybe overly considerate and dedicated. That would be me. I'm definitely, to some, overly considerate. I pretty much ask for everything. Please thank my West Indian parents, my Guyanese parents, for making sure that I always ask. That was something they instilled in me. And it's interesting that people get annoyed a little bit about it. They're like, you don't have to ask me, just take it. And I know they don't mean it because then you start doing that. And please believe that my mom always says that come see me, come live with me is two different things. And how I see this applies is that there are times when people, you come and see them. You might see them every day you go to their house. However, when you start living with them, it's a completely different story when all the rules that they had. So when you came and saw them, it was go in the fridge, don't worry about it, sit on the bed, use whatever you want every time you come over, right? Every time you ask, they're like, man, forget about it, do whatever you want. But then when you live with somebody, suddenly those things that they could stand in small increments about you become the most irritating thing in the world. So that's my tea today, all right? That's my tea. And this is my time, all right? If you got tea, I got time. So if y'all have some tea that you want to share, some things maybe that you're going through like that, where, people will see you as being overly considerate and overly dedicated to a certain cause. And they'll even tell you, like, take a break. Please don't stop working so hard, all of that stuff. And then, maybe you take them up on that. You might start taking some liberties. They say it's fine, anytime. So you start doing it anytime. Or maybe um you start like oversharing, or for some people overcaring, and overcaring just means being overbearing. And I don't mean to keep on rhyming, but it's better than swearing. Okay, I'm done. I love, as you know, some people know I am a poet, so sometimes I go down this rabbit hole of like rhyming and I just love how it's all sounding. That being said, we were chatting about the fact that come see me, come live with me is two different things. It's something that my parents have told me. And this is, I guess, my ending segment now on Voices of the Millennials, where I want to talk about the tea, stuff that we want to share about, things that can help to elevate us, change our perspective on things. So I need some perspective on this topic. I want to know from all of you who are listening how you feel about that, I guess, proverb that I just said, come see me, come live with me, are two different things. That when you live with someone versus when you just see them, sometimes they will act differently and they will allow different things. Their boundaries might even be set up differently so that you can do things that they probably would not like if you lived with them. So one thing that I can think of is when I was little, my sister and I, sometimes we would share a bed, and I would hate if she would not wear socks to sleep. Now, I do not care about these things, like blah, blah, blah. But back then, it was like, every now and then, if we had to like share a bed, because someone came over and now we have to like bunk up, then it's just like, okay, fine, whatever. But then if it had to be consistent, it started to really like irk me, and there are more examples like that. For instance, like people when they come over, and you give them some food maybe, and maybe you're all eating together, and then now they leave their plates and their dishes all on the table. Even if they see everyone else washing their own, they don't necessarily take that initiative. So those are just some of the things I want to know from everyone. I'm just dropping some things that popped into my mind as I thought about this, as I'm spilling the tea. Do you think that when you live with someone versus when you just visit them, that's what come see me means, by the way, for anyone that's, not familiar. So when you come see someone, you visit them versus when you live with them. Do you think there's a difference in the boundaries that would be set up? Like, for instance, going into the fridge whenever you want and taking whatever snack. That's a big one. That's a big one because there are certain things in the fridge that, yes, they are there, but maybe I don't want you to eat them. Like, you know? And if I don't want you to eat them, then is it different when you live with me and you see that thing? Can you eat it and can you eat all of it? There's so many questions that I have. This is just a little bit of the tea that I'm spilling, some things that popped into my head as I'm living my life as a millennial. So I'd love to know what y'all think about that. On the next show that we have, we'll be talking about it. But when will the next show be? So as I said, I have a little girl. She plays soccer and it's on Wednesdays and it's at 7. And I've been wanting, this is her first year in soccer. So I've been wanting to go out to one of those games. And I'm also going to be going on vacation because, as I said, it's important to take breaks. Rest is resistance. And we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. As Adrian told us, our guest today, one of the things that has helped him to be able to get to the spot that he's at is self-love, knowing that you are worth it. You're worth it to pour into and to ensure that you are feeling a certain way and to be able to operate in a certain way. And I think that the only person that could really know that and who can really stop you in any kind of capacity is yourself. So even when it comes to resting and telling yourself you need a break, you are the ultimate person who is going to be able to execute that action. And rest is an action. A lot of people I've heard, put rest in the same boat as laziness. And I would have to argue with that because rest is something that is actually imperative to our survival. It's a part of the human cycle. The daily cycle of being a human involves resting. And if we deprive ourselves of that, many things can happen. And I definitely firsthand experience the perils of what burnout can bring. And so I'm a big advocate for resting. And I say all of that, for my OCD. So I'm overly considerate and dedicated. I'm dedicated to this platform and being this elevator. And so, although it pains me, I will be taking a small break. During that break, what we'll be doing is replaying some of our best episodes because since I'm a new host and this is a new platform that I have joined, I want to make sure that we are amplifying and highlighting those voices of the Black creatives and entrepreneurs that we have been talking to ever since I started 8 episodes ago. Yay. So exciting about that. 8 is my favorite number. So I'm really excited that I made it here and that you are all here watching with me. And so I'll be taking a break next week after our big in-person event, and you'll be able to watch some of our best episodes until I return. All right. And when I return, I want us to talk more about this topic about coming and visiting someone versus living with someone. And we'll be having some guests who will be talking to us about that and moving into relationships and how all of those work. So we'll be having some segments that are about that. So if you're interested in learning more about relationships and, love in the Black community and what that looks like, and I'm not only speaking about romantic relationships, I'm also talking about business relationships and also building in the community relationships. Because for me, one of the biggest, I guess, gems that I have received or advice is that in order to find yourself, you must lose yourself in the service of others. And ever since I've done that, I've been volunteering and doing this kind of work since I was 17. When I was 17. Yes, I love that song. But just to say, ever since I've been doing that, every year, every project, every initiative, every person that I help or who has come back and said, "You help me," brings me closer to knowing exactly what I was meant here to do. And being on this platform and having the opportunities that I have in my day job and the projects and people I get to work with there has shown me that I am a real life elevator. Like, my name is Elle and I am an elevator. My whole reason for being, I get up in the morning to put people on and lift as I climb. That is it. And so, all of that to be said, here we are. All right, y'all. This is 8 episodes in. We've been elevating people, we've been amplifying their voices, highlighting them, and really just wanting to make sure that all of you out there listening are able to gain some inspiration for your journey. And if you haven't been told yet, the journey is the destination. I remember when I was turning 25, I was in a mentorship program and I had received a mentor. And of course, they were a little bit older than me. And I was freaking out because I was turning 25 and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 25 and I still don't have any of my life together. At that moment, that's how I felt. I could tell you right now that I am years older and I'm still figuring things out. And I think that one of the gems that I received from that mentor that really started to shift my perspective, it took me some years to take it on. It felt like a box of darkness I was given at the moment, when I received this information, this gem, this piece of advice. So the what the piece of advice was is that the journey is the destination. Okay? So when I received this at age 24, I'm here thinking, okay, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for a mentor who could tell me to get to where they are. That's what I was thinking. And honestly, I must say, as I'm recounting that right now, that was one of my first times having a mentor where they would be working with me so closely to achieve like a goal, which but the thing was, and this is why it's so important to be prepared for opportunities, and that's really luck, because I was not prepared for that opportunity. I received the opportunity, but I was not prepared for what that opportunity was bringing to me. That opportunity was my ticket to understanding myself better. And at the time, I didn't see it as that. I just thought that the whole mentorship was failed because I never got her to help me figure out who I wanted to be. And the only thing she gave me was this box full of darkness. That's how I saw that quote that she said to me, that the journey is the destination, and that basically I didn't have anything to worry about because I was doing the thing that I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be, which was basically getting mentorships, being in programs. I really wanted to learn more and do more in community development and in social work, and in helping people. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to build events and initiatives and projects that would help people to get to where they wanted to be. At age 24, I wanted to be a life coach, actually. That was where I was like, oh, counselor at the time or psychotherapist, it just seemed too expensive. I thought, to myself, I cannot spend another 50,000 on this education. I need to find another way to become this thing. And so life coach was really booming at the time. This was like when people were accepting that that could be a job. And so I thought, yeah, let me be that. But because I was 24, people were laughing me out the room because, excuse me, age 24 and you want to tell people who are 44 and 60 how to live their life. At the time, I didn't understand why it didn't make sense. But then finally, now, today is one of the days where that quote, the journey is a destination. And even that whole story, I hope you can see, was not just me taking you down a rabbit hole of darkness. It was me showing you that sometimes, or most of the time, in order for us to be able to see the light, we must travel through darkness, because it's only because darkness exists that we know that there is light. And that there's a difference between the two, you know? So if that is true, then we must understand then too that the journey is the destination, and that everything you're doing along your life path. So literally everything I'm doing right now, talking to you, every word that's coming out of my mouth is part of my journey. And when we think about, getting to that good spot or making it, like when you know that you made it, this is you making it right now. This is me making it. This is me making my dreams come true. I tell this story a lot because this is my, I guess, claim to fame. Why I'm sitting in this spot is because I used to think about this a lot. I used to think about this and think about it being a host, being the person that could bring the people together to get the information to the wider people, so that maybe we could shift the way that a lot of people think at the same time. Because I just recognize the power that hosts have. And I wanted to be able to finally, I was always a host, like in my classrooms. I was a class clown. I said it on the last episode. Didn't really have outlets for being a class clown, and only seen as a class clown. But actually, I was always an artivist, somebody who wanted to use my art and my creativity to make a difference. And now I'm finally here doing it. And in order to get to this spot, it took me stepping out of my comfort zone and understanding that a lot of mistakes will happen along this journey. Almost every single show today was no exception. There's always, because we're online, we're at the mercy of the technical gods, the tech gods, and the tech gods, the universe sometimes has other plans. And I've just been really rolling with it. I've developed this art of rolling, with the punches, but also with the beautiful things that come out of the breakdowns. Some things break down, like our technology, it breaks down, but then we break through to new understandings, because I'm literally like put into a place when these things happen to think on my feet and to practice my skills at being the best host that I can, and pulling together this information in a succinct way that can make sense to all of you, and really, shedding some light in that box of darkness. Because the box of darkness, when I recognized that that was a gift too, is when my whole world opened up. And those quotes like "the journey is the destination" stop sounding like um jargon to me, and it really started making sense that everything I'm doing is going to lead up to the person that I am becoming. And really, all I can ever aspire to or try to demystify is the person that I was yesterday. I can look at that person and decide, hey, these are the things that I am and not going to do for the present me. And then I can only hope that applying that knowledge in the present time will allow my future self to thank me. I guess that's another thing I would say before we end off today, is that do something that your future self will thank you for. Do something right now that your future self will thank you for. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take us out on a little bit of a breathing exercise. And I'm also going to drink so much water after this episode. And I encourage you to do the same. Make sure to keep breathing and drinking water. That's all, those are like the bare minimums. And if we do those things, we can help ourselves to get to new places to elevate from. And so before I leave, I want us to take a long breath in. This was from a mentor of mine as well. Shout out to Dibby Young, who has helped me to meet myself more deeply in my creativity. I appreciate you so much for the residency that I recently completed in decolonizing Black joy. So if you're wondering why I'm so happy all the time, it's not because every single thing is happening and working out the way I want it to, but I'm choosing to look at it that way. And I'm choosing to love myself through all of the mistakes, all of the things that don't go the way that I want. And I'm choosing to love life in the same breath. And I'm choosing also to understand that the journey is a destination. So everything that's happening, even though I have this picture in my mind of where I'm destined to be, I also know that everything that's happening on the journey is part of the destination. And so, in order for my movie to be the best blockbuster selling and the most interesting and engaging, I'm going to have to go through a lot of different challenges so people stay and sit watching, so that I stay, I stay engaged with my own self in my life. There's going to have to be challenges. Okay. So, before we go, let's take a long breath in, a deep breath in, and we're going to let out a long breath. So deep breath in, long breath out. All right. So deep breath in and feeling our bellies rising as we inhale, and holding our inhalation at the top of our inhalation, and then exhaling deep and long. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Big inhale, long exhale. Big inhale, pause at the top, and exhale with a sigh. All right, all right. I hope you're feeling more relaxed, and you're feeling good, and you're feeling energized and motivated to go out there and do something that your future self will thank you for. Make sure that if you are in our area, that if you can, on Saturday, July 22nd, come check us out, Voices of the Millennial, at the Be the Light Youth Summit at Humber Valley Church. And I'm wishing you all well, because I won't see you for a couple of weeks. But please do be good to yourselves and each other. Peace, love, and blessings until our energies meet again. Next up are the Bellas, and they got the biz, and they're going to be telling you how you can elevate yourself in your relationships, in your life, and especially towards your business, because it's really important to be able to marry all of those things together to live, that balanced life that we're all striving for. So until next time, see you.